Hello, Radiant Soul. Welcome to an exclusive sneak peek of Unlock God Mode, my transformative 30-day course designed to elevate your consciousness, reshape your reality, and revolutionize the way you experience life. Over the next 30 days, this program will guide you through profound shifts in your perspective, empowering you to see the world and yourself through an entirely new lens. As we stand at the edge of 2024, I invite you to imagine the first 30 days of 2025. What would it look like to start the year with clarity, purpose, and unstoppable momentum? If you're ready to create an extraordinary year ahead, this is your moment to embark on the Unlock God Mode adventure. To help you decide, I'm sharing one powerful lesson from the course. All I ask is that you listen with an open heart and see what insights resonate with you. And here's a gift to make it even easier. During this holiday season, I'm offering 50% off the course for anyone who joins before the end of 2024. To claim this exclusive discount, simply click the first link in the show notes or visit unlockgodmode.org. Enjoy this sneak peek, and here's to creating an extraordinary 2025 together. Today I want to share with you a great concept that has helped me in life and in periods of transformation and also manifestation. And I call this concept Chapter 1 versus Chapter 2. Now, I learned this initially from Steve Pavlina, who has a great blog post about this. But this concept also comes up in various manifestational teachings. It comes up under different labels. So you might recognize this, but just under a different name. So what is Chapter 1 versus Chapter 2? Chapter 1 symbolizes where you are now. Imagine this is the beginning of a book or a movie, and it's the first couple scenes of the movie. The main character still hasn't set off on their grand adventure or their quest. They're still living in the Chapter 1 phase of their life. So, for example, in Harry Potter, the main character is living under a cupboard under the stairs. He has no idea he's a wizard. He has no idea about Hogwarts. He's playing out his normal life with the Dursleys. In Lord of the Rings, we see Frodo still living in the Shire. Life seems normal. None of the adventures have begun yet. In the Matrix movie, Chapter 1 would be everything before Neo takes the red pill. Before he accepts the adventure, before he learns to see life in a new way, that would be Chapter 1. Chapter 2 symbolizes the actual exciting part of the story. This is where the character is going through adventures. This is where they're on a quest, they're on a mission. Manifestationally speaking, this is where you're living your new life. So if Chapter 1 was, let's say you're working in a cubicle at a ho-hum job, you don't really like the job, Chapter 2 is you're living your new dream life. Whether that means you're traveling, or you have a fantastic new job, or you're starting your business, whatever the ideal life that you want to live, that's Chapter 2. Now here's the tricky part. Most people spend all their energy focused on Chapter 1 and very little energy focused on Chapter 2. Why is that? Because they're not living Chapter 2 yet. They're still stuck in Chapter 1. They're still observing Chapter 1. They're still feeding energy to Chapter 1. They're at the job that they don't particularly like, or they're in a messy relationship that they can't seem to get out of, or they're still in debt. Whatever Chapter 1 looks like for you. Now, there's this compulsion to either resolve the problems of Chapter 1 before moving on to Chapter 2, and or figure out all the steps you need to take first before making the leap to Chapter 2. And both of these are huge traps. If you spend your time trying to resolve all the Chapter 1 problems, you're never actually going to get to Chapter 2. Because you continue to feed your attention, your energy, to Chapter 1. So an example of this would be, let's say you know you want to quit your job, but you feel like you need a bit more of a safety net before you leave the job, or you feel like You need to tie up some loose ends before you quit. So you keep playing the chapter 1 story. You keep showing up at the job. And then your boss comes to you and says, we're going to promote you next month. And now you're really stuck. You think, my God, I was just about to quit and go to chapter 2, but now I can't. I'm being promoted. I can't quit now. I can't refuse this promotion. This is technically a good thing from a chapter 1 perspective. So most people, they accept that and they keep playing chapter 1. They never actually make the leap to chapter 2. This would be the equivalent of Harry Potter telling Hagrid, I would love to go to Hogwarts and experience this brand new life you're talking about. I'd love to learn how to be a wizard, but I have some homework I need to finish from my Muggle school. I've got some chores that I need to finish for the Dursleys. So let me come back to you in a few weeks. Is that okay? Hopefully you see how ridiculous this sounds in terms of Harry Potter, but so often we do that in real life. The universe comes up with some interesting opportunity or some invitation, and we basically tell the universe, you know what? I still got to do some laundry. I still haven't finished my taxes from chapter 1. Please come back to me in a few months. And so the universe takes the invitation and gives it to someone else. The thing with chapter 2 is that it is radically different than your current life. And there's usually not this smooth step-by-step transition that so many people are seeking. It usually involves a leap of faith. It usually means quitting your chapter 1 story, meaning you don't get to tie up every loose end perfectly. Harry Potter doesn't get to finish the homework from his Muggle school. He doesn't get to finish his chores. He just goes with Hagrid and enters his chapter 2 life. And you need to do the same thing. You don't have the luxury of tying up every single loose end from your chapter 1 story. Don't get bogged down in the chapter 1 open loops because they're infinite. As soon as you resolve one open loop, there's going to be 10 more. You just have to skip and go directly to chapter 2 and experience your new life. If you've ever moved countries or cities or jobs, there comes a point where you just have to quit your old life and make the move. And once you're settled into your new country or your new city or your new job, only then will you understand what chapter 2 is really all about. Only when Harry Potter actually goes to Hogwarts and meets all the wizards does he finally start to understand his story and his role in it. It doesn't come before. No amount of preparation or research or studying is necessarily going to give you an accurate understanding of what chapter 2 is about. You actually have to just go directly and experience it yourself. So how do we apply this to manifestation? Well, the idea here is that if you want to experience chapter 2, you've got to focus the majority of your energy on the chapter 2 experience, no matter how enticing or stressful or flashy the chapter 1 experience is. You've got to essentially ignore or severely limit the amount of attention to chapter 1, give it your bare minimum attention, while focusing your energies entirely on creating your new chapter 2 story. And not just creating it, but living it, feeling it. So if you're working a job that you don't like, let's say you're also in debt, and let's say you don't like the city you're living in. Using the chapter 2 method, what you need to do is focus your energies entirely on what your life looks like on the other side. Which city do you actually want to live in? What does that look like? What does that feel like? What kind of job do you want to have? What kind of people are you meeting at your new job? What kind of work are you doing? What does it feel like to be entirely financially free? You want to tap into the energetic signature of your new reality. Now, chapter 1 is going to try to suck you back in. Very normal, very expected. Neville Goddard calls this reacting to the 3D. Chapter 1 is going to put up a fuss. Let's say you're in debt and you want to experience financial freedom. The chapter 1 energy of your story is going to try to drag you down. It's going to tell you, why are you not focusing on the debt? Why are you not stressing out about this? Your job is going to demand your attention. Your current environment is going to try to suck you back in. Whatever your chapter 1 story has been so far, if it's unfulfilling and you know that you want something different, you've got a clear idea of what chapter 2 is for you, you've got to start giving chapter 1 the least amount of attention. Do what you need to do, show up at your job if you need to, go through the motions, but in your mind, you have to start living mentally in your chapter 2 story, knowing that you're going to get there, you're going to be there, you're going to live it. It's like if you've ever given your 2-week notice for a job, and you know that in 2 weeks, you're never going to work here again. Any number of stressful things could happen at your job during those 2 weeks, but you would be so unstressed by it. You would not give in to the drama because you know you're leaving in 2 weeks. You know that whatever the problems of this company, you're out of here. Now, has it happened yet? No, but you're already mentally ahead. You're mentally already preparing for your exit, for your chapter 2 experience. So you can apply the same exact process to any area of your life. Identify where you are now, chapter 1, get very clear on that, and identify what your chapter 2 story looks like. Exactly what does your life look like on the other side, and begin to live there mentally. Spend at least 20 minutes, that's a minimum, 20 minutes a day, closing your eyes, going into your imagination, and envisioning, feeling into, living from your chapter 2 experience. Now, sometimes it's hard to focus on every single part of your new life. So if it helps you, it definitely helps me, you can just pick one area at a time. So pick one area that you want to change, one area that excites you the most. If it's financial freedom, focus on that. Feel into what your chapter 2 experience of money looks like, feels like, sounds like. What does it feel like to be wealthy? What does it feel like to spend your newfound wealth? What does it feel like to invest? What does it feel like to buy property? Really get absolutely clear on what your chapter 2 self would be doing. If it's relationships, go directly to the end. Go directly to your chapter 2 experience. Who are you with? Who is your partner? What does that feel like? What does it feel like to be in a happy relationship? What does it feel like day by day to experience your new relationship? This is the really key part. Don't waffle around in chapter 1, and especially don't try to figure out the route between chapter 1 and chapter 2. This is just going to slow you down. And it's a major trap that people get into. They feel like, well, if I can just figure out the steps, if I can just figure out the exact scenario of how I move from chapter 1 to chapter 2, then I'm going to give myself permission to focus on chapter 2. Doesn't work like that. You got to take your energy now and place it on the chapter 2 experience now. Go to the end, as Neville would say. And if you try this out, you'll notice a surge of energy. You'll feel what Abraham Hicks calls in the vortex. You'll feel this in the vortex energy. So if you've been feeling kind of ho-hum, there's not been much of a spark in your day-to-day, once you start living in your chapter 2 experience, you are going to start to feel some genuine excitement. You're going to be feeling like there is a spark here. Your eyes are going to light up. Your heart is going to light up because you're tapping into your chapter 2 story and you're not diluting it with chapter 1 energy. I love this quote from Kat Norton, who runs the Miss Excel brand. She said, "You need to energetically be where you're going, not where you're at." And if you look at most people, they're energetically where they're at. They're observing where they currently are. They might think about their future a little bit here or there, but they're not living from it. They're not energetically at chapter 2. So the key thing with this process is to remember that we are skipping to chapter 2. We are not putting our attention on the transition between chapter 1 and 2. And if you're very logical minded and you like to close open loops, you like to tie up all the loose ends, you like to know how things are going to work out, This may be a little bit tricky, but you've got to trust. You got to trust, and honestly, you just got to practice it. Practice going directly to your chapter 2 experience. Whatever excites you the most from your ideal life, go and live it in your imagination. Spend at least 20 minutes. Spend more time if you can, but spend at least 20 minutes living chapter 2, feeling it, smelling it, seeing it, interacting with it. You can do all of this in your imagination, living from the end state. And when you return to your current timeline, your chapter 1, just imagine that you're going through the motions of the chapter 1 story. It has to transition. But you're not focused on that. You know that the universe will take care of the transition. Deep down, you already know that chapter 2 is coming. So you're living mentally in chapter 2. You still have to live through chapter 1, but you can kind of see it as like the last 2 weeks of a job. You just got to come in, put in the time. You know you're going to be out of this job in 2 weeks, but in the meantime, you got to still show up. So this is how I want you to see your current life. We're not ignoring it. We're not denying it, but neither are we giving it our full attention. Our attention is entirely on chapter 2. Our attention is on what comes next because we know it's coming. Just like when you watch a movie that you know the ending to, you've already seen it before, and you can watch the battles and the drama, but deep down, you already know that the main character wins. You know that everything turns out all right. So whatever is going on the movie screen, you're not as disturbed by it. You're not as engaged with it because you know the ending. So look at your life the same way. You already know the ending. You know what chapter 2 looks like and feels like, and you're going to start practicing it every day, like the end of a movie. And so no matter what drama happens in your life, doesn't matter. You've already seen the end. You know that you get to go to chapter 2. That is the feeling that I want you to carry with you all throughout your day. I already know I'm heading to chapter 2. It's a done deal. I imagined it. I intended it. I'm going to continue to imagine it and live from that state. And now it's just a matter of time catching up. So I'm going to go through the motions of chapter 1. I'm not going to resist it. But equally, I'm not going to pay too much attention to it. I'm not being caught up in the drama of chapter 1. And I'm going to be especially on the lookout for inspiration, synchronicities, and open doorways that lead me to chapter 2. But mentally, I'm already living chapter 2. Mentally, I'm already there. Energetically, I'm right there. So try this out today. Lie down on your bed, close your eyes, and ask yourself, what does chapter 2 look like for me? Go to the full experience of your new life. Skip directly there and feel what it feels like. Experience it in your imagination. Enjoy it. And then carry that energy, that knowing all throughout your day. Carry the knowing that you're energetically already there. Physical reality is just catching up. Try this out and let me know how it goes. You've just experienced an exclusive sneak peek of my transformative 30-day course, Unlock God Mode. If this lesson resonated with you and you're ready to dive deeper, the full course is waiting to guide you to your next level. Here's what's included inside the course: 30 God Mode lessons to expand your consciousness and transform your reality. This is more than 10 hours of audio content. In addition to that, 30 vibe amplifiers to elevate you into the energy of success, abundance, and greatness. These are 3-minute meditations that you can play at any time during your day to tap into a specific state, Ella Neville Goddard. In addition to that, you get 15 powerful bonus lessons. You get 30 days access to my private high vibe community. This community includes over 15 recorded workshops with guest speakers, plus live mastermind calls with me and the community. And last but not least, you get a bonus one-on-one call with me to accelerate your growth in any area of your life. And for a limited time, you can access all of this for 50% off if you join before the end of 2024. Visit unlockgodmode.org or click the first link in the show notes to claim your spot and set the stage for an extraordinary 2025. The choice is yours. Step into your power and let's unlock God Mode together.